Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 19, and it's going to focus in on a very specific area of the rear monocoque section, that being the fin post and stern post assembly. The rear monocoque section of the Hawker Typhoon is the aftmost section of the fuselage. This runs from the transport joint all the way back to the rudder hinge points, and it includes the tail wheel, the fin, and the mounting points for the horizontal tail planes. The fin post and the stern post are the aftmost structural members immediately forward of the rudder hinge line. These both have separate terminology because they're built independently as a fin post on the fin assembly and a stern post on the rear monocoque assembly, and then brought together on final assembly as one integral unit. We're quite fortunate to have had these parts donated, and these, hopefully, despite their poor condition, will give us a lot of the answers that we need to put together the fairing and ribs and hinge points on the stern post side. I'll take this assembly here, the bottom hinge point, and the lower end of the stern post, and set that to the side. And I'll also move this area, this whole assembly, the locating hinge to the side. Everything that you're looking at internally here is, from top to bottom here, is shroud. There's no actual stern post visible in this area. So there's side plates. It looks like there's some reinforcing in there. There's the shroud itself, and there's a rib at the top. If I go to the side, this is the aircraft skin, and it's a sheet of skin that comes from the stern post aft. What my goal is here today is to identify attempt, I should say, to identify the profile of the supporting ribs for the shroud. And they're placed in between the web of the stern post and the shroud itself. So I'll slowly disassemble this and get in there and see what we're dealing with. So it looks like the ribs for the shroud actually coincide with stiffeners on the stern post. So I think the easiest thing to do, if you can see that, is to take these rivets off, these stiffeners specifically, and with luck, possibly some of these guys here will be able to remove that stern post and see what kind of mess is inside there. There we go. A little bit of dirt in there. That is the stern post being removed for the first time since construction. And this is our shroud. It looks like it's absorbed a little bit of soil. And this is the aft side of the stern post. Again, soil. A little bit of moisture in there still too. So next step is quite clearly going to be to get rid of this. there's another little hidden row of rivets that I found just in here. Hopefully you can see that. Little 332 fasteners, and they attach that shroud to the skin. Let's see, and I think there's probably just a couple that are tucked up in this fold. I'm trying not to break this too much. It's tricky because it's corroded, but we've got basically, I think there's 2 or possibly 3 rivets in here in that crumpled up area with no access to either side. So I think I'm going to have to snap that. It's unfortunate, but yeah. So you can see 1, 2, 3, oh, maybe 4. That is just pinched in there, so we'll move on and take as much apart as possible before any real effort is exerted on these parts. So that's the last big piece of structure, and interestingly, if you look at this, this is the shroud skin right here. This is forward on the aircraft, that's towards the rudder. This is up towards the top of the fin, and this is down towards the bottom of the fin post or the stern post. But if you look at this angle here, you can see how close it is to the bottom of the stern post and that lower hinge point, because this is one of the diagonal bulkheads that runs forwards to reinforce the tail wheel. So I'll see what we can do about this. The material's really age hardened. A little bit of heat goes a long way. I might be able to soften it a bit and straighten this stuff out. I'd like to kind of massage it back and be able to cleco a lot of this together. So we'll see how that works. I'm going to do this quite crudely. You'd never do this on an aircraft part that was going to fly. However, this stuff will never fly again, and I'd like to preserve it as close to the original as possible. So I'm just going to take a torch and I'm going to heat up. One thing that you can do is you can use soap, or you can put soot on the aluminum and then burn it off with the very end of that blue flame. And you want to get up to about the 930 degree Fahrenheit point. For this kind of stuff, it's not really crucial. I just want to soften the metal. So I'm going to heat it up really well without melting it. I can feel the heat in my fingers already through the gloves. And then it'll give it a chance to bend without cracking. That's all I'm looking for here. And hopefully we can preserve some of or return it to some of the shape that it should have anyway. So what I'm using is a rawhide mallet. That gives us an idea of what it's supposed to look like. Thank you guys all very much for watching. Now we've got a lot of new information that we can fish through and hopefully build some accurate CAD models and eventually all of the tooling and components to put together JP843's rear monocoque section. Don't forget, if you're able to, please head over to our paid subscription channel. It's making a huge difference for us, and for only a few dollars a month, you'll get early access to these videos, no advertisements, you'll get forums and direct communication with myself and other team members. So if you're able to, please do. It really, really does help. Until next time, guys, cheers.